Hello everyone, and welcome back! Today I have a very colorful addition to my Let's Design series with a Rainwing-Icewing hybrid named Snowdrop. I gotta say, she ended up having a kind of wild backstory, or just different from my usual, because I was playing around with colors to the point where it affected my story for her. So right off the bat, I just want to say this design is just so colorful to me. I wanted to do a Rainwing-Icewing today because I had this idea of like colorful pattern-heavy bits overlaid with these plain white splotches, so the tribe combo was an obvious choice. But then, towards the end of my drawing process, I was also kind of like, I need some more Icewing type colors in here. So I tried to recolor her with an alternate palette, but I ended up kind of liking both sets so much that I decided to keep them. So Snowdrop is my first hybrid design to have an alt color set. Basically, since she's part Rainwing, most of her scales, except for the white splotches, can change color. However, they don't just turn to any color. She basically has two colors that she can switch between: Rainwing scales and Icewing. Now, she can switch her scale color at will, so she decides whether she's blue or sunset colored. But I will say that on the rare visits she's made to the Ice Kingdom when it gets really cold, her scales will sometimes flip to blue and stay that way until she warms up. Some kind of unconscious choice her body makes for her. But usually she can flip between her two color modes at will. I thought this was a cool way to incorporate Rainwing scales into her design, and let me stick with both color palettes I liked, so it's a win-win for me. So, Snowdrop is a flamboyant, friendly dragon, with friends everywhere she goes. She's loud, energetic, and always ready for an adventure or a game. She travels with a performing troupe of actors, acrobats, and entertainers, basically a circus. During the day, she performs with them, dazzling guests with her unique colors and her acrobatic skill. However, Snowdrop also has a second job, or a second identity, if you will. Strangely, wherever the troupe travels, things tend to go missing. Jewelry, treasure, important artifacts or relics. It's quite an odd coincidence. The leader of their traveling band, a sea wing named Seaside, recognized Snowdrop's potential when she joined their group, and raised her to learn a very specific skill set. So during the day, she performs, and during the night, Snowdrop flips her scales to blue and robs their clients blind. It turns out it's pretty handy to have an alternate set of scales to wear when she needs to sneak into places she shouldn't. Snowdrop wears her blue scales like a mask, like a secret identity, and it works very well. The few times the thefts were noticed before the troupe left town, nobody was ever able to pin the crimes to her because she looked nothing like the alleged intruder. So yes, Snowdrop is friendly. She loves the exciting life of the circus, she loves acting and telling grand stories, and she's always ready to take part in troublemaking. But she's also a very clever thief, who enjoys poking around and slithering into places she isn't meant to be, all the while keeping her almost obnoxiously cheerful mask up. Yeah, this was not the direction I expected her story to take, but with a design this perfect for crime, how could I pass it up? I almost went a different route and had her playing a spy, claiming she and her twin sister were different dragons and using that to her advantage. But that sounded like plot, and I was like, I'm kind of picturing her like Ty Lee from Avatar, where she's like the sweetest, most cheerful person, but she could also be like knocking you out at the same time. It's a cool contrast of elements. Snowdrop doesn't have frostbite, but she does have the Rainwing venom. However, she didn't really grow up around many Rainwings, so she's never practiced with it much. She knows she can spit venom, but she's never done it for anything more than idle curiosity, and she can't aim with it to save her life. She isn't vegetarian like the Rainwings, since I've always kind of pictured that to be more of a cultural thing than a health thing for them, and Snowdrop didn't really grow up culturally like any tribe in particular. However, she does adore napping in the sun, no matter if they're in the swamps, the desert, or the frigid edges of the Ice Kingdom. She's never met her parents, either of them. Seaside, self-serving though he may be, is the closest thing she has to family. Him and the rest of the dragons she travels with. When I'm designing Rainwing anything hybrids, I feel like it's kind of hit or miss whether I give them the ability to change scales or not. I usually lean towards no, I think, but in this case it was a fun addition to both her design and her backstory. If anyone is interested in adopting Snowdrop, there's an auction for her character over on DeviantArt from noon today to noon tomorrow, Central Time, so if you want to take a look, there's links in the description. Also in the description are links to my Patreon, my Redbubble, and my store, which are all places you can support me by becoming a patron or purchasing cool merch from my store. And if you enjoyed this design video, I have plenty more you can watch as well, with lots of different hybrid combos. Thank y'all for watching, and have a wonderful day.
out in a bonfire.